Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsharelle, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, and I hope that your week has been wonderful so far. I had a busy weekend that I'm still trying to come down from, but it was all good, and I can't wait to share more with you soon, so stay tuned for that. Now, last week, we talked about distraction and the corrected course, because it's just really easy to get distracted. For 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 5 or 10 years. I mean, ask me how I know. But right now, it really feels like folks are in a space of reclaim, is what I'll call it, whether it's something tiny like reclaiming your time, blocking time on your calendar, or reclaiming your whole self, just like going for the gusto in anything in your life. But in general, that seems to be the energy that's out here. And with that spirit of reclaim, it's important to recognize why you are reclaiming whatever you released or relinquished, and to reflect on why you stopped claiming it in the first place. And it could be a myriad of reasons, right? You may have initially thought that you were letting go of something for one reason, and then it morphed into something else. Or maybe you got distracted from getting back to it. I've come to realize that we often let go of things prematurely and then find ourselves struggling to reclaim them later on because we shouldn't have let them go in the first place. Or maybe you were supposed to let something go because you were being moved or felt guided toward picking up something else, but you never did. And then I would say to that, like, why not? Why didn't you follow the flow or allow yourself to be pulled by that tug you were experiencing? Which brings me to the point I want to drive home today, which is go with your gut, right? We were given instinct for a reason. We're not meant to just bypass it or run it like a red light. It is, or rather, it should be an integral part of our lives and how we move. Have you ever found yourself talking yourself out of what you knew to be true or what you knew deep down in your gut you should be doing? Why do we do this? We must make it a habit to trust ourselves more. Intuition is defined as a thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. That's from some dictionary version, y'all. I don't recall which one. Now, I'm typically a person that likes to mull things over, think it through, really thinking that thing off the table, under the table, out the door, down the hill, and out of sight. And surely even me describing it that way, you can see the danger in that process, right? There's no room left for instinct there, no room to trust intuition. And the more I find myself thinking, the deeper I am burying my God-given ability to know what I know when I know it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's absolutely a place for conscious reasoning in our lives because we can't be out here just going off the deep end all the time, right? You should for sure, and I mean for sure, measure risk. You may know or may not know by now, I'm pretty risk averse. So again, you should for sure measure risk because we need balance. But at least for me, I can identify sometimes in my life where I overanalyzed something or asked for advice or altered my moves when my very first instinct was the right one. And recognizing that now really kind of hurts when I reflect on it, I talked about this a while back as I've been working on it, but This is a reminder to myself and all of you if you happen to struggle, because even in all of my growth, this still remains a prominent area of opportunity for me. When we train ourselves in a certain way for so long, it does take a long time to recover from those behaviors. But don't give up. If you dig deep enough, you can recover your whole self. And so that's what I'm striving toward. I hope that you're striving toward the same. The Forbes article, Four Ways That Trusting Your Intuition is a Superpower, identifies intuition as non-conscious emotional information. When you're going with your gut, it's not that you're just pulling something out of the sky. You're really tapping into internal information that isn't solely based on logic, but could be based on past experiences that you have attached an emotion to. So in that respect, you have the combination of experience and emotion. This experience has caused this emotion, and that has helped you to form an opinion about something that could very well have been logical, but your response may be based on how you feel. And I'm sure we can all agree that that's not wrong. There's really so much more to explore here. I could go on and on, but I'm not. We can pick this up another day. But when we go with our gut, some of the fear comes from that question we often ask ourselves, but what if I'm wrong? Or what if I'm tripping? Which is what I often ask myself. Am I blowing this out of proportion? I must admit, I can be one for the dramatics. And so in an effort to keep that in check, it can sometimes lead to me, though, suppressing my feelings because I don't want to exaggerate something, or blow it out of proportion. But what would happen if we, as in I, reframe these questions, these gut questions, particularly around life decisions that have the potential to propel us forward in life, or may be attached to some form of success or emotional fulfillment? Should the question be, what if I'm wrong? Or should it really be, what if I'm right? How does it feel to give yourself permission to even allow yourself the potential to be right? To step into it and own it, to say, I was right about that, and it resulted in a good outcome. Think of the world of possibilities that you open up for yourself by just reframing those words. You may be looking to others in your life to make decisions for you so that you don't have to even deal with questioning your own instincts, particularly when decisions are hard because of the ownership attached to them, right? Because in the chance that it doesn't go right, it feels a little easier to not take full responsibility. Or does it? It doesn't free you from the burden if it goes wrong. But if you go with your gut and put some skin in the game, you're going to move different. You're going to fight harder. You're going to work harder. You're not going to throw in the towel prematurely, right? You have to have a stake in your life. And when you are making those gut decisions, you truly are the head stock trader on the block, whether you are winning or losing. Now, there may be times when you feel like you didn't really leave the decision making to someone else or leave something to chance. But the reality is that by not making the decision or taking the step, particularly if you do have a deep feeling towards something that you're choosing not to acknowledge, this is you intentionally leaving the decision making to someone else, to another human being who has no more power or agency over anything than you do. So take back your power, that possession of yourself that God has granted you. You know when you need to go with your gut versus when you need to enlist the help or expertise of others or the logic, right? So you don't have to transfer your power to someone else that you think can handle that better than you. Because once you do that, it's really, really hard to get it back. I came across another article entitled, When to Trust Your Gut Feeling, Your Body's Inherent Intelligence. And the author states that when you experience an unsettling gut feeling, this can often mean that a decision doesn't align with your core values. That really resonates with me If I have to think about going with the flow or allowing someone else to make the decision when my gut may be telling me something else, that would mean that essentially I'm going against my own core values in some instances. And that's deep and enough. It's actually enough to make me stop and think about how I'm going to continue moving forward. Maybe you've made the decision to allow someone else to make the decisions for you in the past, and you regret that and wish you trusted your gut instead. Well, that's water under the bridge. Let it go and allow yourself to move on. But the next time a situation comes up and you feel that internal tugging, don't ignore it. It's there for a reason. It's a reflection of who you are at your core. And if you ignore those foundational blocks that are deep below the surface when they try to come up and show themselves to you on your path, how will you ever become who God would have you to be? I'll leave you with a few words from Dr. Wayne Dyer today. If prayer is you talking to God, then intuition is God talking to you. I think that sums it up, y'all. Listen to your gut and listen to God, right? Thanks so much for listening today. If what you have been hearing has been beneficial, don't forget to share, follow, rate, and review the pod. I can't wait to chat with you all again next week. Take care until then.